What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining another NFL Week 14. We're here with start-sit advice for this coming weekend. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are continuing to stay safe. We're going to get right into it. I think my boy Taco is running a little late right now, so we're just going to get right into it in regards to starting off with our Week 14 matchups with our actives and inactives. We're going to start with the Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Bucks. This should be a pretty crazy game, especially with how Tampa Bay has been on a slide lately. Minnesota is hot and cold. You know, we're going to be doing our kickoff show at 11 o'clock with the guys at Spotlight, and some of our guys have a tendency to try to avoid the Vikings because whether they pick them to win or lose, it's always a complete opposite. But to start this with the actives and inactives for the Vikings, Eric Kendricks is out with a calf injury. Alexander Madison is out due to illness. As of right now, Kyle Rudolph is doubtful with a foot injury, and questionable is Irv Smith, another tight end. So that might be, they might have to go deep in the bag for a tight end today if both of these guys are out. For the Bucks, we have Cameron Brate that's questionable due to illness, and doubtful is Jamel Dean. Next up, we go to the Arizona Cardinals at the New York Giants. Out right now is Jonathan Joseph, Jalen Thompson, and kicker Zane Gonzalez. That's half of their secondary. You have a cornerback and a safety that's out. And the Giants have been looking very, very good, especially on the defensive side of the ball over these last couple of weeks, trying to make a playoff push and win the division that is known as the NFC least. Questionable today for the Questionable for the Cardinals, Kelvin Beachum with a back injury, Devondre Campbell, Kenyon Drake with a hip injury, DeAndre Hopkins with a neck and back injury, and linebacker Isaiah Simmons with a neck and back injury as well. For the Giants, Madre Harper is out with a knee injury. Questionable is Darnay Holmes, Daniel Jones with a hamstring injury, Blake Martinez, and Matt Pert. Move on to the Kansas City Chiefs at the Miami Dolphins. For the Chiefs, out is Damian Wilson with a knee injury. Question is the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu with a hip injury. Dolphins, Salvin Ahmed, Eric Flowers are out. Questionable, Landon Roberts, and Kyle Van Noy. Guys that are in here, guys that are viewing, be sure to ask your questions for your start-sit-em advice, and I definitely will make sure to help you out. Make sure to smash the like button. All my guys' links from Spotlight are in the description below. 5 Minute Sports, what's up, man? Hope all's well. Sports highlighting Bengals Cowboys. Let me pull that up for you right now. Give me 1 second. Oh, perfect. It's right here. Cowboys and Bengals. Out is tackle Cameron Irvin with a knee injury. Questionable is Anthony Brown. Zeke Elliott is questionable with that calf injury, and safety Donovan Wilson. Bengals questionable. It doesn't seem that anybody's out. We just have questionables for them as of right now. Mackenzie Alexander with a knee injury, T. Higgins with a hamstring injury, and Brandon Wilson. Guys, it is just a little bit before 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. There will be more updates throughout the league over the next couple hours before the 1 o'clock games start. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to come on in and ask away for your start-sit-em advice for your fantasy, whether it being your fantasy teams or your DFS. I know you guys are getting ready for playoffs in the fantasy league, so let me do what I can do to help you guys out today. I'm going to go next into Houston and Chicago. Out is Farrell Brown with a concussion. That's their tight end. Questionable, Brandon Cooks with a foot neck injury. Kiki Kute, receiver with a knee injury. Defensive back Keon Croson with a foot. Phillip Gaines with a knee injury. Linebacker Jonathan Grenard with an illness. AJ McCarron, not injury related. He is questionable. And John Reed is questionable as well with a neck injury. For the Bears, Buster Screen is out. James Valders is out. Questionable. Tight end JP Holtz. Shoulder knee. Khalil Mack with a shoulder. He's questionable. You know, that dude's a beast. He'll most likely be in anyways. Raiders versus Colts. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you right now, 3 that I know for a fact are out is Jeff Heath. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to Hammer's House as well. I know the overlay is a little crazy right now, but work with y'all. I appreciate that, man. I really, really, really do. Raiders and Colts, like I said, Jonathan Abram is out. Jeff Heath is out. Let me scroll down and pull this up real quickly for you guys. Colts, I'll start with the Colts first. Rigoberto Sanchez, the punter, is out with the illness. Questionable is Anthony Costanzo with a knee injury. Tyquan Lewis, defensive tackle with a hip injury. And questionable is Bobby Okereke, who the guys have been very high on as one of the core linebackers for the Colts. Now, as of right now, and again, this game is at 4 o'clock, so things can change between right now and later this afternoon. Right now, Damon Arnett is out with a concussion and neck injury after another head-to-head shot last week versus the Jets. Jeff Heath is out with a concussion as well after getting his bell rung by Sam Darnold. Questionable as of right now is Jonathan Abram with the knee injury, running back Josh Jacobs with the sprained ankle, and Isaiah Johnson. There is a good chance that these guys will be suiting up today. There's no definite. John Gruden said on Friday in the press conference he had to see what they did through walkthrough yesterday. So just give it some time, and we'll be able to let you know. Sorry about that. All right, we're going to start. I'm going to go right into the start sit-em advice, and the first one is coming from first email. Interesting. Juju, CeeDee Lamb, or Michael Gallup for a half-point PPR. I haven't had a chance to really look at the matchups, but the Steelers have been on a slide these last 2 weeks, and they just got their first loss. Welcome to the club. So much for being perfect. But Gallup and Lamb, I'm not too sold on right now, just with how the Cowboys have been doing in regards to their quarterback and their offensive play. Even Zeke has been a shell of himself. I would definitely go with Juju, especially even if it's a half-point PPR. I would definitely go with Juju. So there you go. First email, and thanks for your question. Melvin Gordon or McKissick, full PPR. Thanks. I actually was reading on McKissick a little while ago, and from what I understand, McKissick is one of those guys that he should actually see a really, really good upside this coming week. Let me see where I had this up before. Actually, McKissick is the start of the week right now. And looking through my list of starts, Melvin Gordon is a C strong start. I'm trying to find McKissick. McKissick is more of a flex. So depending on what you're trying, full PPR, depending on what your need is, if you need him as a starting running back, I would go with Gordon easy. McKissick is more of a flex today, most definitely. And sports news, definitely a lot of concussions this year, but it's also a lot of the guys, their form tackling or lack thereof. There's a lot of guys that like to go helmet to helmet, and the last couple of weeks you've seen Damon Arnett plays with reckless abandon, and he has a tendency of doing that. And this was, I believe, the first play of the game. Frank Gore had a run to the left. Arnett came full throttle, hit him head to head, put himself out. Frank Gore was out too, concussion as well. They both got walked off the field at the same time. Damon Arnett is his own worst enemy when it comes to that aggressive style of play. I was a person that played like that. I loved helmet-to-helmet shots. Not the best thing in the world. And if you're a rookie, you're trying to have a long career in the NFL, this is not the way to start off. That's for sure. Had Jacobs, who I'm not playing, and I have Chubb in my single running back spot, so it's a flex. Delusional Tanner, then go with McKissick for your flex today. Actually, no. Because you still have Gordon, and this is a flex. Put Gordon in as a flex. You could definitely put Gordon in as a flex. Let me pull up. Sorry, guys. I'm doing this as a one-man show today, and I apologize for that. I really do. Trying to find the matchups, which, here we go. The Broncos have Carolina. Same record and everything, and you know what? From the start of the season, the one thing that we absolutely looked into was the Carolina Panthers and the defense that came back this coming season. There was only about 25% of the guys that they had from last year. The loss of Luke Kuechly and a lot of other players. Their first game against the Raiders, their run game was not that great. Their run defense was not that great. I would definitely go with Gordon today against defense in the Carolina Panthers. Their offense looks good, but their defense is still not great against the run. So definitely go with that. Thank you, Landon. I appreciate that. Anybody else have anybody that's in here, please make sure to ask away. You can ask whatever you guys would like for your start and sit-em advice. We got a couple coming in, but not that many right now. You know what? We'll go right back into the injury reports until I get some questions. Next up, actually, we'll go right into this. The Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. Broncos out today is Graham Glasgow with an ankle injury, Tyree Cleveland, wide receiver, with an illness, and safety Trey Marshall with a shin injury. Panthers, guard Dennis Daly is out with concussion. Doubtful is Christian McCaffrey, shoulder and thigh injury still. Questionable, safety Trey Boston with a hamstring injury. Rasul Douglas, their cornerback. Safety Sam Franklin, ankle. Defensive end, Yetur Gross-Matos, not injury-related. Marquise Haynes, defensive end. Here you go right here. And you guys just asked about Melvin Gordon. Panthers defense is pretty much depleted right now. Definitely go with Melvin Gordon as your flex today. He definitely should put up some serious numbers against pretty much non-existent Panthers defense. Jets and Seahawks. This is supposed to be the later game, so it's a 4 o'clock game. Jets as of right now, and again, things can change between now and this afternoon. Jets, Ashton Davis is out. Safety Bennett Jackson is out. Jordan Jenkins is out. Denzel Mims is out. Greg Von Rotten is out. Questionable, Jamison Crowder, Pat Eiflin, and Frank Gore concussion. We have to wait and see how that plays out for him today. Seahawks, Jamarco Jones is out. Doubtful, Travis Homer. Questionable, Carlos Dunlap, Phil Haynes, Ryan Neal, and Cedric, I don't want to butcher this name, Ogabui. I'm trying here, guys. Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, out is Antonio Gibson. Questionable is Ryan Anderson, Morgan Moses, Brandon Scherf, and David Sharp. 49ers out is Tom Compton, Kevin Givens, and Hronis Grasu. Doubtful, DJ Jones, Emmanuel Mosley, and questionable is Kwan Williams. Let's see if we have anybody. Here we go. Now we're getting people in here. San Francisco or Kansas City's defense? San Francisco or Kansas City's defense? Kansas City has Miami. San Francisco has Washington. Washington's offense has actually looked pretty decent. Their defense has stepped up. They're playing against – it's pretty much a balanced game between San Francisco and Washington. This is kind of a no-brainer. I would definitely take Kansas City going. Actually, let me pump the brakes. And to say Kansas City's defense against a defense in Miami has looked very, very solid, this is a toss-up. I would say I'm gonna have to go with Kansas City's defense. It's gonna be a tough matchup, but I'll definitely go with Kansas City's defense. And thank you, Delusional, for that question. Super team questions: bench one in PPR: Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, or Ezekiel Elliott? God. Has Michael Thomas done anything since the start of Taysom Hill? That's a question within itself. Has Zeke done anything since Dak has gone down? It's another question. And who was the other one that you asked about? Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, I've been high on, especially since Trubisky was back as a starter. Him and the combination between him and Trubisky has been pretty good since he's come back into the lineup. You have to bench one now. Like this is a super team, and you only have to bench one. This is something that's got me like. And who does Dallas have this week? Or is that wait? Dallas has Cincinnati. Dallas is playing a defense in Cincinnati that is just god awful. New Orleans has Philly. This is a tough one. Now you got me stumped, man. What's up, Butcher? How's everything? And who's the matchup for the Bears? Because I'm looking at these other two matchups, and I'm like, this is a very tough decision. The Bears are playing Houston. Oh. I would say bench Michael Thomas. What up, Key? Hope all is well. Apparently doing a solo show. It's the first time I'm doing this, and I'm trying to get through it. So everybody that's in here, please just show some love and support, because I'm I'm tripping over my own words already, and I'm live. Like, that's not a good look. Yo, Iverson, what's good, brother? How's everything? How's everything? Yeah, so Randy, I would have to say I would bench Michael Thomas today. Definitely. Again, I haven't seen him do much with Taysom Hill at the helm. It seems like Taysom's doing a lot more for himself, and it's not a knock, but dude can break the pocket and make plays happen. So I would definitely consider benching Michael Thomas today. If anybody else is in here has got questions, come on. Thanks, Key. Any other sit-em questions, feel free to ask. I'll keep going through the actives and inactives for the time being. Next up is I did Washington. Now, next up is New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, a lot of this is subject to change between now and game time. Right now, out for the Saints is Malcolm Brown, cornerback Patrick Robinson, and Deontay Harris. For the Eagles, out, you have TJ Edwards, Rudy Ford, Michael Jacquet, Jason Peters, and questionable is Graylin Arnold with a hamstring injury. We move on to the Atlanta Falcons and the Los Angeles Raiders. For the Falcons, you have Ricardo Allen out with a concussion, James Carpenter, Julio Jones with that hamstring. That's never going away. And Caleb McGarry, non-injury related. Chargers, doubtful. Chargers don't have anybody out. We just have doubtful as of right now. Denzel Perryman with a back injury. And questionable is Troymaine Pope and Joe Reed. We got a battle in the NFC North between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Out for the Packers is Simon Stepanik, Jace Sternberger, and questionable Darnell Savage. I'm just going to go with the last name, wide receiver St. Brown with a knee injury, and Malik Taylor with a hamstring injury. For the Lions, out is Tyrell Crosby. Kenny Galladay is out again with that hip injury. And Jeff Okuda. Questionable, Austin Bryant, Deshaun Hand, safety CJ Moore, John Pennicini. Matthew Stafford is questionable with that right thumb injury, and DeAndre Swift with illness. We move down to our last, as of right now, the Steelers and the Bills. Joe Hayden is out with a concussion. Robert Spillane is out with the knee injury, and out is Jaquan Johnson. Let's get right back into the stardom, sit-em, whatever you guys want to know. I would Thomas as well. The Saints have run the ball 70%. Yep, exactly. And that's my concern. Like, of course, with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time to be down with his whole ribs, you're not going to see them pass the ball very much. And that was one thing I said a couple of weeks ago when it came to the Saints offense. It was going to be a heavily dependent on the rush. And they're still being successful. They're still winning games right now. They're still top in the NFC. So, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The game is going to be a sneaky good game. I think Detroit actually gives them a run for their money. So, Butcher, it's funny that you mentioned that, and I said something last week in regards to Matt Patricia being fired and the Lions having their first game without Patricia and their GM running the team. This is something I've noticed as long as I've watched sports, and it's funny. You can call it superstitious. Oh my God, superstitious. You can call it whatever you want. There are majority of the time where a coach is fired in the middle of the season. That next week or next game, there's a good chance that team is going to win, and that's what we saw in the Lions last week. I believe the Lions might be on an upward trend a little bit. The Packers are going to be the Packers. Most like they're always a contender throughout the season, but it may be a dogfight come today. Am I going to give you my prediction right now? No. You guys can wait for that during our Spotlight kickoff show at 11 o'clock. But it's something to think about. Like, yeah, they won last week. This is going to be the second week with a new coach, but you know what? Maybe they're playing better for the replacement right now. We move on to other starts and sits that I'm going to go through. I'm going to give you guys advice on who I suggest could be started, or who you could start, or guys you can sit this week. So I'm going to start it off with Ryan Tannehill, especially for guys that are fantasy owners, like doing fantasy leagues, not DFS. Tannehill is not considered a reliable weekly starter, but entering the fantasy playoffs, he's a top 10 signal caller. The Titans got rocked last week by the Browns, which nobody saw coming at all. But he still has plenty. Tannehill still has plenty of value for fantasy points, and to travel against Jacksonville, a one-win Jacksonville team. I don't know if they're even considering trying to get in for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, considering the Jets have still yet to win a game. Ryan Tannehill could see some upside today, especially with A.J. Brown as good as he has been looking over these last couple of weeks. Myles Gaskin is another one to start, but I need to double-check that because I did get an alert last night that he might be out from Miami today. I'm going to double-check this. Yeah, see, this is where like I do my research and right away things happen. Myles Gaskin was considered a start by a lot of people this week, but he is out due to being put on COVID injured reserve, so he will miss the game this weekend versus Kansas City. So the next start that I would suggest is, if you have him or you're trying to use him for daily fantasy, is Jamali Williams, running back for the Green Bay Packers. As good as Aaron Jones is, the Packers are content trotting out a 60-40 split between the two. And as frustrating as it may be, they pretty much go that option by run by committee or who's got the hot hand. And of late, Jamal Williams has really stepped up. He's been a top 20, and this is Williams I'm talking about. He's been a top 20 PPR back, even though he's averaged just 11.5 touches per game. They're going to Detroit today against a Lions team that has allowed a league worst 16 rushing and 7 receiving touchdowns to running back so far. So Jamal Williams, if you have him or if you're considering using him for DFS, this is a guy you definitely want to consider starting today. Let me see. That game is going to be sneaky. They played with the yeah, and that's the point. And this is for a lot of teams, because another team that we can also talk about this season is Houston, with the worst head coach / GM I've ever seen in the NFL, Bill O'Brien. He got fired. Romeo Crennel's taken over for the interim for the rest of the season. The first game with them, they won. They beat – I don't remember who they beat. I was going to say another team, but they actually lost that team. That was the Patriots, but no. I digress. Let me get back into these starts. And again, guys that are in here, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll answer as best as I can right now to help you guys get geared up for this Week 14. Mike Williams, no. T. Higgins, and I believe he's questionable right now, so I'm going to stay off of it. He's averaging 15.2 points per game over the last 3 weeks, which is another top 20 when it comes to receivers. Higgins is holding 15 to 24 targets for 185 yards and a pair of touchdowns from Brandon Allen and Ryan Finley, while the Bengals QB situation is totally up in the air since the loss of Joe Burrow. Higgins remains the club's number one. If he is starting today, I definitely would put him in there. They're going against Tampa Bay. Secondary has been the worst in football over the past 5 weeks, allowing over 42 fantasy points per game to opposing wideouts. So if Higgins is, in fact, able to start today, consider him starting in your league or your DFS. Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said Raiders. Wow. Talk about a throwback. Although he tends to be volatile, Mike Williams has actually been a top 25 wideout for the past 5 weeks. He definitely is a heavy second option for Justin Herbert. We know his main guy is Keenan Allen. But overall, his consistent volume, he's accumulated 5+ targets in each of the Chargers' past 6 games. And Williams has that top end of speed that's problematic for a struggling secondary. They play Atlanta's defense that has allowed the second most fantasy points to wide receivers. So look at it this way. If Allen is shut down by any chance, Mike Williams is going to be that next best thing. Consider starting him today against Atlanta's defense. We can go to sit him. Let me see if you guys asked anything yet because I'm going back and forth between everything. Nope. Sit him. I'm sitting Cam Newton for a quarterback who currently stands as a top 15 weekly option in terms of fantasy points per game. He's been an erratic week-to-week option. Fresh off that terrible game he played and got benched against the Cardinals, Newton's produced a top 10 outing in week 13 in LA, but with the 5 to 9 TD to interception ratio, Newton has been one of the worst passing quarterbacks in the league, and that's kind of crazy to say, but I guess not every good thing works out for Belichick because Cam Newton's definitely not playing up to his potential, and I know it was a 1-year deal. He's talking about wanting to get more money. I don't think he's going to be getting it anywhere else after this season. Sit. I'm sorry, Key, but your boy, Miles Sanders, you could sit on the bench with Wentz. Sorry. Sanders is one of the most hyped players coming into this season. And I wasn't sold on him, and I'm glad I wasn't. Taco, if you're watching, you technically lost the bet that we had going in the first place. He's turned 18 touches into 53 yards. He hasn't produced a touchdown since week 5. It's been a struggle for him, guys. It really has been. Hold on one second. Boston Scott and now Jordan Howard are taking away the snap. Sanders has a little chance of busting out of his skid against the Saints' top-ranked fantasy run defense this week. So, yeah, Miles Sanders, you're getting benched. Nail in the coffin. Giovanni Bernard, another sit. As appealing as Cincinnati's matchup against Dallas is, Bernard simply is not getting it done. It's hard to trust him as a starter, especially in your fantasy playoffs. He hasn't found the end zone since week 8. We are now in week 14. It's another guy consider leaving on that bench. Devonta Parker against Kansas City. Sit him. Parker thrived with Fitzpatrick, but he doesn't have that same relationship with Tua. And we got a cookie alert. Anyways, Parker was averaging 14.4 fantasy points with Fitzpatrick, and with Tua, it's not the same. They need to develop a better relationship, a better chemistry for him to have those same type of numbers. I know Tua's still young. He'll get the hang of everything, and we'll see where it goes. Jerry Judy of the Broncos. He hasn't looked right since injuring his ankle in week 11. Granted, the Broncos had no shot in week 12 without a quarterback, but Judy's lack of volume is concerning. Last 3 games, he's caught 4 of 13 targets for 42 scoreless yards. Sit Jerry Judy. Last, Dallas Goedert, another tight end of the Eagles. Eagles rightfully have thrown in the towel and will be giving Jalen Hurts their quarter. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have Jalen Hurts starting for the Eagles today. Elf on the shelf, Wentz on the bench. As badly as Carson Wentz has played, still a major downgrade. And Hurts came in last week in the third quarter. He completed 5 of 17. Goddard was a recipient of 2 of those targets, but only racked up 6 yards on a single catch. Ertz also returned last week. So, with the return of Ertz, you're going to see a huge upside, especially if Hurts looks to utilize him, whether it being a safety blanket or not. And I'm definitely looking to see what Jalen Reagor can do this week. Now he has a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that he had a previous relationship with in high school in Texas. So I'm going to wrap it up because there's not too much going on today, but stay tuned. We're going to be on in 45 minutes. The rest of the guys from Spotlight giving you guys our kickoff show with our fantasy, our NFL week 14 NFL matchups, our predictions, our scores, our analysis. Who should I play? Matt Stafford or Matt Ryan, Devontae Parker or CeeDee Lamb, Todd Gurley, Gus Edwards, or Tony? Good Lord. Let me just put this up for everybody to see. And let me look at the matchups again, and I can break this down to you. Actually, let me do it this way. Stafford or Ryan? Quarterback question I'm going to answer first. You're going to start Matt Ryan today. Most definitely. He's got a matchup against the Chargers, who have a tendency to shoot themselves in the foot, especially with that defense time and time again. I'm sorry, Jake, but it has to be put out there. In regards to the numbers and the comparisons in the matchup, Ryan has a much better matchup. In regards to fantasy points this year, Stafford definitely edges out Matt Ryan a little bit, but I definitely think with this matchup against the defense and the Chargers, it just has not been that great. I would definitely have to go with Matt Ryan today, most definitely. Devontae Parker, I just stated for Parker with Tua as starting quarterback, I will sit Devontae Parker. So go with CeeDee Lamb today. I know it's a chance, but not really, because the Cowboys are playing an abysmal Cincinnati defense. So your best bet is to definitely go with CeeDee Lamb. Todd Gurley, Gus Edwards, or Tony Pollard. Give me 1 second. Let me just look through this real quick. I'm definitely appreciate you guys coming out with these questions too. Like, I'm doing anything I can do to help you guys today. Let me see. So another one with a matchup, and I don't know why I just didn't tell you this right off the hit, that I just said I suggested Matt Ryan because of the defense that they're going against in the Chargers. I would definitely have to start Todd Gurley today as well. Again, dude should definitely, especially against their run defense, god awful. Like, probably at the bottom of the league right now. And again, I feel like Joe Burrow was that leader. Granted, he's a rookie, but I feel like he was trying to put that team in the right direction. But when he went down with that injury, that was it. And I know he's a quarterback, but you know what? It can take one person to lead a team. It could take one person to get hurt to bring that team down. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. I definitely appreciate you guys for joining. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's actually Hammer's House. We just put it up finally last week. The love and support will mean a lot. And my boy Dorian put up some merch as well for Hammer's House. We'll probably try to showcase it at some point. He just put it up last night. But we will be back on. I'm taking a 40-minute break. We will be back on with the rest of the guys at 11 o'clock for our Spotlight kickoff show. I got another one before I'm rolling out. Second league, full point PPR. T.Y. Hilton or Hollywood Brown. Cardinals defense or Niners defense. Cardinals are playing the Giants, I believe. And Grant. Let me. God, this is a tough one. Cardinals and Giants is going to be a close game. I'll tell you that right now. 49ers defense has been I'm going with the Cardinals defense for that one. Hilton and Hollywood Brown. This is a toss-up. I'm going to check this real quick, though. I'm like doing things on a fly right now. Bear with me, guys. The disrespect. Go with Hilton. I hate to say it, but the Raiders secondary has not been that great, and now our secondary is totally depleted right now. I know we practically own Rivers, but Hilton, and I just spoke about Hilton yesterday, Hilton has looked good the last 2 weeks. I would definitely start T.Y. Hilton today over Hollywood Brown. I'm going to wrap it up, though. I appreciate those that came in here. Make sure to follow, and subscribe. Please, it means a lot. We will be back on in 39 minutes for our Spotlight Week 14 kickoff show. Hope to see you guys there. Boom. Hammer out.